Hi, I am Gakenya Mosharie. I am pursuing the middle grades general education certification pathway. This video discusses the application of the scientific method to 6th grade math, how mathematicians solve problems using patterns, data, and evidence. The question we will be exploring today is, does texting while completing a task affect concentration? Students can discuss this for a moment. We can use the scientific method to find out. But what exactly is it? The scientific method is a step-by-step process for investigating questions and testing ideas. It is used to collect evidence and solve problems. By following the steps, we can make fair and reliable conclusions based on evidence rather than just opinion. It's much like being a detective. Step 1. Make an observation. Notice important details about your surroundings using your 5 senses. For our example, we observe that students text on their phones while completing assignments. Step 2. Ask questions. Get curious and formulate questions about the details you observed. Our question in this example could be, does texting while completing a task affect student concentration? Step 3. Form a hypothesis. Make a reasonable guess from the information you've gathered by asking all the questions you had. Let's hypothesize that if students receive and respond to text messages while working on an assignment, then they will complete fewer questions correctly because texting divides their attention. Step 4. Experiment. Create a controlled environment and replicable methods anyone could use to investigate your hypothesis. In our experiment, we have the following constant factors: same worksheet, same time of day, same time limit, same room, same number of texts. We also have the following variables: texting versus not texting. After you design the experiment, carry it out. Step 5. Analysis. Gather and organize the results from your experiment. Compare them with the prediction of your hypothesis. In our example, record the number of correct answers for each student in each group. Calculate the mean, median, and range of scores for each group, and organize and display your data using a frequency table and a dot plot. The mean would help us discover the average test scores per group to know which group scored higher. The median tells us what a typical student in each group would have scored. The range would help us understand how spread out the test scores were in each group to determine the concentration span per group, and frequency would help us determine what the most common test score was in each group. All of this information will help with our conclusion. Suppose that out of 20 available points, the non-texting group scored what you see and the texting group scored what you see. We can determine the following. The average score in the non-texting group, 11. In the texting group, 8.3. This means that on average, the non-texting group scored 2.7 points higher than the texting group. The median score in the non-texting group, 10. Texting group, 8.5. This means that a typical student in the non-texting group scored 1.5 points higher than the student in the texting group. The range, non-texting group, 10. Texting group, 6. This shows that the concentration varied greater in the non-texting group. Frequency, non-texting group, 10. Texting group, 8, 9, 10. This shows that the most common test score in the non-texting group was 10, while in the texting group would be 8, 9, and 10. Conclusion. This is where you explain, using mathematical evidence, whether the data supports the hypothesis that you formed or not. I would say in our example, most results from our experiment support the hypothesis that texting affects student scores. The range factor is interesting because it shows that texting is not the only thing that would affect student scores, and maybe we can form another experiment to determine what those factors would be. Step 7. Share your findings. The entire scientific process leads us to new information. Presenting the findings of your experiment allows for new knowledge to be shared, discussed, and evaluated. This is a recap of what we have discussed today. Remember, these steps are not the only ones that could be included in the scientific process. Some people may add and even rearrange the steps. It is a flexible process rather than a strict set of steps to be followed. And these are my references.